Blake Lively once stood at the pinnacle of Hollywood's Golden Girl pedestal. She was the face on countless magazine covers, the actress headlining popular films and TV shows, and the personality every talk show host adored. For many fans, her life seemed like a fairy tale, starring in a beloved drama series, seamlessly transitioning into blockbuster films, and marrying one of the world's most sought-after leading men. She had charm, wit, and a seemingly flawless reputation as a devoted wife and mother. But over time, quiet whispers turned into loud questions, and people began asking, is Blake Lively's pristine image actually masking a storm of feuds, heartbreak, and shattered relationships? If you've only seen her glamorous red carpet photos and her cheeky social media posts, the idea that Hollywood insiders are skeptical of her might sound far-fetched. But step behind the glitzy curtains and you'll find a very different narrative. A complex tapestry of rumored feuds, alleged betrayals, and shocking turns of events that have left more than one high-profile figure distancing themselves from her. Jennifer Garner, Scarlett Johansson. Even the British royal family has found itself in the crosshairs of drama tied to Blake Lively's actions, whether intentional or not. In the next few minutes, you'll hear stories that flip the script on what you might believe about Hollywood's sweetheart. We'll explore allegations, trace patterns of behavior, and ask the tough questions. Has Blake Lively been at the center of more turmoil than her sunny persona implies? And if so, why do people keep falling under her spell, only to emerge feeling burned? Buckle up, because this might make you see this so-called perfect wife and actress in a whole new light. It's no secret that from the beginning of her career, Blake Lively built an appealing presence that made her seem almost unreal. She was the blonde starlet everyone wanted to cast. Her social media exuded self-deprecating humor and casual elegance. She posted about cooking, family, and philanthropic ventures. Even her interviews showcased a youthful optimism that helped her stand out in an industry often associated with cynicism. Yet, for someone so visible, she's been surprisingly adept at keeping rumors at arm's length. Public disagreements rarely stuck to her name. Even when she ended a long-term relationship or parted ways with certain industry folks, the break was usually described as amicable. But the hush around her real behind-the-scenes life only fueled speculation among watchers who noticed anomalies, especially around the times she's worked closely with attached leading men. Some fans dismiss all of this as mere Hollywood rumor mill talk, pointing out that co-stars often become close. But others, especially those who followed certain patterns in her timeline, believe there's more to her story. Indeed, it seems every time the rumor pot starts boiling, another distraction appears. An awards show appearance, a witty Instagram comeback, or a heartwarming story about her family. The quiet question remains, is this polished public image a glossy cover for conflicts that are all too real? One name that frequently surfaces in discussions about Blake Lively's tangled web is Jennifer Garner. Years ago, Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck were one of the few Hollywood couples that actually seemed stable. They had 3 children, successful careers, and a relatively low drama existence. Or so it appeared. That illusion came crashing down when Ben decided to direct and star in The Town back in 2010. Casting Blake as Ben's on-screen love interest raised eyebrows from the start. She was younger, undeniably charismatic, and known for forging close bonds with her male co-stars.
You can't stay.
I don't want to stay. I want to go with you.
Jennifer, having been in the industry for years, recognized the red flags. She'd seen how friendly on-set atmospheres could turn into full-blown attachments. And while some might say Jennifer was simply being overly cautious, there's a reason her worries were so acute. She remembered all too well how her own relationship with Ben had begun under suspicious circumstances when he was engaged to Jennifer Lopez. When filming wrapped, Blake and Ben's interactions at press events radiated more warmth and chemistry than mere professionalism demanded. They stood together as if they shared a secret world.
It's, nerve-wracking. It's your first day on set, you're doing your characters. It's there to tell a key part of the story in their relationship. And I was nervous the night before, and I remember talking to Jeremy. And so I thought, I don't know what's gonna happen. And he said, it's just all in the eyes. That was it.
That's all I ended up in the scene.
It's true, it's an uncomfortable.
How do I literally get on top of him and have sex with him? Or maybe he has to get hard too, or somewhere in there. 15 seconds and done. I'm like, well, maybe. But at any rate, just go in and just, if it takes you 20 minutes, just take 20 minutes, but go do it.
You worry about the logistics of the physicality, but you forget, oh, I just need to act. And he reminded me, not so helpful.
Jennifer, already juggling 3 kids and the demands of her own career, was left grappling with unspoken suspicions.
Chaos. I really did not realize how much more work 3 was going to be than 2, and I've been a little overwhelmed, but he's 5 months old and I think I'm coming out of a fog. At some point I'm going to have to email all my friends and say,
Onlookers claim she felt powerless to confront the issue directly because any outright accusations might just push Ben further away.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Timing made everything look worse. Blake ended her long-standing relationship with Penn Badgley just as the town press tour was ramping up. Jennifer's gut feeling was that something more was going on, but she couldn't prove it. Fast forward a few years, and Ben's well-publicized affair with his children's nanny would finally end their marriage. While that betrayal itself had nothing to do with Blake, Jennifer reportedly never forgot the role Blake played in feeding that initial wedge of mistrust. Ever since, Jennifer and Blake have taken great pains to avoid crossing paths, whether at industry events or mutual gatherings. Insiders say Jennifer's experience was enough for her to draw a firm line in the sand. No more second chances for anyone who triggered those old wounds. Jennifer Garner wasn't the only Hollywood leading lady whose marriage would allegedly suffer a blow after crossing paths with Blake. Around the same time the town was making headlines, Scarlett Johansson was married to Ryan Reynolds. It seemed like a union of 2 dynamic A-listers, each with enough star power to fill a stadium. But behind closed doors, their relationship was apparently unraveling under the weight of clashing schedules and minimal time spent together. The final straw for some, however, appeared to be the filming of Green Lantern. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were cast as leads, and from day one, stories floated around about how much they enjoyed each other's company off camera. Whether it was grabbing lunch together, disappearing from the set for extended periods, or exchanging in-jokes during filming, their bond had a spark that crew members noticed. Scarlett, who often supported Ryan at important premieres and events, chose to skip the Green Lantern red carpet altogether. That move raised immediate suspicion. While fans were curious why she was absent, industry insiders found it revealing. It looked as if Scarlett wanted to dodge an awkward moment, watching her husband glow alongside a co-star with whom he was rumored to be getting way too close. Shortly after the Green Lantern premiere, Scarlett and Ryan announced their divorce.
It was hard not to love the movie because you guys are so beautiful to watch that I was just like,
well, hello.
To the public, it seemed abrupt. In Hollywood circles, it felt inevitable. If Jennifer Garner's experience with Blake was a cloudy suggestion that boundaries might have been crossed, Scarlett's situation painted a picture that was harder to ignore. Even the timing of how quickly Blake and Ryan officially became an item, soon after his divorce was finalized, drew skeptical glances. Whispers suggested they'd been essentially a couple behind the scenes, with the official announcement only waiting for the ink to dry on the divorce papers.
One witness saw Reynolds and Lively getting close over dinner before he and Johansson split. It was just the 2 of them, and they were laughing and flirting. It looked like a date. If you didn't know who they were, you would definitely assume they were a couple.
Scarlett has never come out explicitly to accuse Blake of wrongdoing, but her seemingly purposeful avoidance of Blake's presence at industry functions has not gone unnoticed. Friends say she'll switch events if she knows Blake will be there, or she'll back out of certain interviews if there's a possibility of crossing paths. When asked about it, those close to Scarlett say she finds no reason to force a pleasant facade with someone she believes contributed to a turning point in her life. One could dismiss the Jennifer Garner and Scarlett Johansson rumors as messy Hollywood business, but Blake Lively found herself in controversial territory with the British royal family as well, specifically Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales. For a woman so adept at staying within PR-friendly lines, Blake's move during Kate's public image crisis was unexpected and, some say, deeply unkind. Kate Middleton had been battling rumors about her health, and a heavily edited family photo added more fuel to speculation. Critics and fans dissected the snapshot, pointing fingers at everything from suspicious Photoshop to potential changes in Kate's personal life. In the midst of this frenzy, Blake posted her own obviously altered photograph. In a sarcastic caption, she proclaimed it was totally not photoshopped and insisted she was flawless and perfect, referencing the swirling conversation around Kate's post. Some fans laughed it off as Blake's typical wit. Others, including sources supposedly close to the palace, believed it was outright opportunistic.
Blake Lively is taking accountability.
The Gossip Girl alum is apologizing for seemingly making fun of Kate Middleton's photo editing incident in a recent post promoting her company, Betty Buzz.
Kate had just undergone major abdominal surgery and was dealing with huge public pressure, not to mention health worries.
But I've had a fantastic medical team who've taken great care of me, for which I'm so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present.
Many felt that Blake's timing was less about humor and more about generating engagement for her own brand. For a family known for its stoicism, the silence from Buckingham Palace spoke volumes. Leaks from palace insiders suggested there was disapproval, though, in keeping with royal tradition, no official statement was made. Critics of Blake's behavior said it highlighted a recurring pattern, making light of serious moments that other women face, whether marital strain or personal health issues, and spinning them into witty PR moves. What might have been an innocent joke, some argue, turned into a mean-spirited jab at Kate's unfortunate predicament. When A-list marriages falter, the rumor spotlight often lands on the third party. But if you trace Blake's career, you'll also find murmurs of tension on sets that have nothing to do with romantic entanglements, and everything to do with interpersonal friction. The Gossip Girl era is a hotbed for these accounts. Leighton Meester, who portrayed Blair Waldorf, was the yin to Blake's Serena van der Woodsen. On
Leighton, I need to see those earrings. Look at me. Hold on, Leighton, not too far, baby.
On screen, their characters had a love-hate dynamic that fueled much of the show's tension. Off-screen, however, they barely spoke once the cameras stopped rolling. Leighton was known for a more methodical approach to her craft, often staying behind to rehearse and ensure her performance hit every emotional beat. Blake, on the other hand, was rumored to be more concerned with forging relationships that translated to magazine covers and brand endorsements. Their two personalities clashed in small, subtle ways that eventually accumulated. When Leighton married Adam Brody, Blake was conspicuously absent from the guest list. That made fans scratch their heads because, for people who shared such an iconic series, you'd expect at least a public show of support. Instead, they went their separate ways the moment Gossip Girl wrapped. Penn Badgley, who dated Blake for a significant part of the show's run, has also spoken warmly about many of his co-stars, though not so much about Blake. Observers noted that whenever he's asked about her, he finds a polite way to change the subject or remains vague. Another example, Henry Golding worked with Blake on A Simple Favor. The film was well received, boasting a twisty plot and comedic chemistry between the leads. But behind the scenes, rumors spread that Blake's perfectionism bordered on controlling, leading to multiple retakes whenever she felt her hair or makeup didn't look quite right. This allegedly frustrated everyone else, who wanted to keep the production moving smoothly. The most glaring tension, though, arose between Blake and Anna Kendrick, also from A Simple Favor. Anna is widely recognized as down-to-earth, approachable, and friendly. Some say she's among the least likely A-listers to butt heads. Yet sources from that production claim she and Blake rarely saw eye to eye. Blake's punctuality, or lack thereof, was a point of contention, as were her reported demands for creative input that often delayed filming. Once the movie premiered, the chill between them was evident during press interviews. Their answers felt rehearsed, with forced smiles and minimal direct engagement. Fans watching these interviews picked up on the awkwardness. The actors who play close or twisted friends in a film usually joke around and display more camaraderie in real life. Here, it felt like they were fulfilling contractual obligations and counting down the seconds until they could part ways. When you look at the mosaic of these stories, Jennifer Garner's apprehension, Scarlett Johansson's abrupt divorce, the uneasy rumblings from royal circles, and the friction with co-stars, you start to see consistent threads. One might argue that Blake Lively's career is simply full of coincidences, or that her desire to protect her image pushes her to navigate controversy in sometimes clumsy ways. Hollywood is often a breeding ground for rumor-fueled hype, after all. It's also possible that she's unfairly blamed for situations where there were already problems brewing. Yet, for someone who once epitomized the effortlessly beloved star, the volume of similar stories piling up is tough to ignore. The quiet avoidance from Jennifer Garner, the rumored hostility from Scarlett Johansson, the alleged tension with Anna Kendrick, and even the annoyance from palace insiders point toward a pattern. The question is, will Blake ever address these controversies head-on, or will she continue putting out a curated public persona, trusting that time will bury each wave of speculation? Some fans hold out hope that she'll address it all with the same frankness she's used to share personal anecdotes in interviews, an honest conversation acknowledging any missteps or misunderstandings. Others believe it'll be business as usual, a few witty social media jokes, a couple of philanthropic appearances, and a new film role that captures everyone's attention, leaving controversies to fade away. But in a world where audiences increasingly dig for deeper truths, the cracks in her sparkling image may become too prominent to ignore. That sweet, easygoing persona can only coexist with swirling allegations for so long before something has to give. Whether she chooses to adapt and clarify her side of the story might determine if she remains the star with enviable fashion and a charming family life, or becomes yet another cautionary tale of how quickly Hollywood can turn on you. For now, Blake Lively's story continues to attract both loyal defenders and vocal skeptics. Each new development, each rumored feud, suspicious timeline, or ill-timed joke only heightens curiosity. And in an era when fans are more critical and better informed than ever, a reputation can unravel in the blink of an eye. Ultimately, you'll have to decide for yourself. Is she a victim of tabloid exaggeration or a shrewd orchestrator behind the scenes? No matter which side you fall on, one thing is certain. The facade of Hollywood's golden girl is showing signs of tarnish. The next time you see Blake Lively glowing on the red carpet, remember the swirl of unanswered questions just beneath the surface. Because in the end, the truth might be more complicated and more fascinating than any glossy magazine cover can convey.